Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Wednesday. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button on this video as well as all our other videos. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone, as well as TikTok at Big Red Zone. And tell a friend. This week we went from one of the worst weekends in Boston sports to probably the greatest I can ever remember. Patriots get a big win, but the Red Sox move on to the ALCS. We'll break down NFL games, but we'll mainly talk about the Red Sox moving on in this great, incredible playoff run we are on. Let's go. This is the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I'm joined by Danny Football.
What a fucking weekend, Big Red.
What
a goddamn week. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable roller coaster of emotions. I mean, it all started the night after the podcast that we recorded when, we'll get into it when the Red Sox won the wild card game. It feels like a lifetime ago,
honestly,
and now they're going on to the ALCS against the Astros, and man, I don't want to get too much into it. I want to talk some football because it was a big weekend football, but unbelievable, dude.
What a week, man.
I'm still riding this.
We convened last Monday with staring down the Yankees in the wild card game, wondering who was going to start. It was Nate Eovaldi. And man, 7 days later, who could have guessed where we'd be at? This is insane. What a ride.
I mean, if you ride the I told you to pick the Red Sox to win this preseason, win the World Series preseason. It's something about life, man. Whenever I leave a school, graduate a school, they always win the World Series. So if they win it this year, I am announcing I'm going back to school. First, I'm just going to do my part. I'm doing my part for the Red Sox and for this organization. They better start paying for my tuition though, because this is
that'd be nice.
Crazy out of pocket. But let's start off. Let's before we get into it, because I really want to talk about the Red Sox and how great they are. Let's get into NFL stuff first. This is the weekend recap. It's the weekend recap. So for weekend recap, we pick 3 games from the NFL weekend. One of them is the Patriots game and 2 other games. The first one, we got Bills versus Chiefs. And I got to apologize to listeners or viewers. I do have the NLDS game going on, Atlanta Brewers. So if I lose focus and I start yelling, that I apologize. Freddie Freeman just hit an absolute bomb in the bottom of the 8th. You already know this because it was done probably last night and the night before. But it's top of the 9th, 5-4. Atlanta, if they get 3 outs, they're going to the NLCS. So sorry, I gotta get that out of the way. If I get distracted, apologize. So Bills Chiefs, Danny Football, help me break it down.
So Bills Chiefs, it was good to see Pat Mahomes get another humbling loss. From what we're seeing, from what we're seeing the first couple of weeks here, it's not easy pickings for the Chiefs. They're not cruising like they used to be. They lost Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They add Josh Gordon, but obviously they have terrible issues on the defensive side because they can't stop anyone. So it came down to a shootout, Josh Allen versus Pat Mahomes, and Josh Allen got the better of him. A rematch, like we said last week, it's a rematch of the AFC Championship game from last year. And the Bills put their foot down. Bills came out firing, got that pick 6, turned the tide. Pat Mahomes' wife can complain all about the officiating that she wants, but at the end of the day, the Bills were the better team, and they got the W.
This is, I feel, the passing of the torch.
Ooh, okay.
I feel like the Bills.
Pat Mahomes had the torch for 1 Super Bowl. That's pretty good.
Well, oh my God, what a joke of a bunt. I feel like the Chiefs were the guaranteed contenders of the AFC. Like everyone was saying, who's going to play the Chiefs? I mean, I think we got to start saying who's going to play the Bills. because the Bills are just looking unstoppable. If you told me the Chiefs would have the same record as the Pats come week 5, I would say, oh man, the Pats must have a really good schedule and he must be playing really well. I mean, a really good record, and Mac must be playing out of his mind. I mean, this is just, it's crazy to think that this team was a Super Bowl. Some people were picking this team to win the Super Bowl. And I mean, we always talk about it in sports. It will even out. And I have a feeling eventually it's probably going to even out a little bit. But I mean, we're looking at it now. What are they? They're last in the division. They're 2-3. I mean, they got to pretty much go near perfect the rest of the way, right? I mean, the Chargers look unbelievable with Herbert. I wouldn't be too worried about the Raiders with all their stuff going on right now. I wouldn't really worry about them. The Broncos, I mean, I'm not too worried about them. So I mean, you're 2 games back from the Chargers, and to be honest with you, I don't think you're catching them. The Chargers look like a legit team.
From what we saw with the Chargers, I mean, just like the Chiefs, that's a shootout team, but I think I'd lean more towards the Chargers than the Chiefs in a shootout because Herbert's legit, man. Herbert is legit.
Potential MVP pick for this season, second-year MVP pick?
The whole NFC is loaded with MVP potential, man. They got Murray, they got Herbert, they got everyone running around over there.
AFC, he's the AFC.
My bad.
Herbert. But still, same thing. I think you're right. I think it's so loaded. I mean, Murray's a potential MVP. I mean, it's totally loaded this year. I agree. But I mean, looking at the Chiefs' schedule right now, the next 3 weeks are big for the Chiefs. Like, it's the biggest 3 weeks I think they're going to have in the season because it's going to determine, where they're going to fall. You got the Washington football team away. You're away at the Titans the week after, and then you're home against the Giants. You have to go 3-0 if you're the Chiefs. Like, there's no option because then you got the Packers at home the next week, and then you got you're going to the Raiders. But they play the Raiders twice, which, I don't know. They play the Cowboys. They play the Packers. They play the Broncos a couple times, which could help them. They play the Bengals, which will help them. They play the Chargers one more time. Did they already play them? Yeah, the Chargers already beat them once. I mean, it's like they got a tough schedule down the stretch. I mean, they got a couple of clinkers in there, but these next 3 weeks, like, they got to win 3-0.
Well, this has been the theme with them the last couple of years. I know they had the Super Bowl year, which was, it was what it was. But on paper, it's an amazing roster. You go down the list: Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kelsey. They had Josh Gordon, Tyrann Mathieu on the defense. Like, up and down the roster, like, it's amazing player. But like we've seen with dream quote unquote dream teams, stacked teams, it's about how you guys come together as a team and how you play. And through these 5 weeks, they haven't been doing that in a winning way. I mean, you see it against the Bills. You see it against the Chargers, like you mentioned. They come out and they don't play a complete game. They don't play as a complete team. So teams that, like Justin Herbert, like Josh Allen, that are legit top-tier quarterbacks with top-tier offenses and weapons that can match, they beat them. They just outgun them. So this is going to be a problem for the Chiefs. Is their defense needs help, which I feel like we've been saying that for years at this point, but their defense needs help, and their offense, while it's great, not enough firepower, and maybe the offensive line's not as good as it used to be. They don't have enough.
Yeah, I think looking at the offense, like, I don't think the offense is the problem. The problem is the defense. The defense has given up at least 30 points or more in their first 5. It's for week 5. First 5 weeks of the season. 30 points is the lowest they've given up. They gave up 33, 36, 30, 30, and 38. Like, that's the problem. It's not the offense. The offense is putting up at least 20 points, which should put you in a winning situation. And I think that's the main problem. And I think it's only going to get worse because the offense is getting worse. They lost Clyde. I think they possibly lost Joe Tooney, which prayers up for this guy. That's a huge loss to them. Because you're right, their offensive line was bad, but they brought in guys like Joe Tooney to kind of help stir it up. And if they lose him, it's like, that's it. Like, that's it. Sorry, Braves could go into the NLCS. Unbelievable.
Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves.
Congratulations. Unbelievable. You just ruined my thought, but that was unbelievable.
The Titans of the early to mid 90s.
So, anyways, but I like my point. My point is they're in serious trouble, and this is one of the teams we're going to talk about in a little bit. I think they dropped the ball because you had a chance to give up next to nothing to get a guy like not a guy like the guy Stephon Gilmore for a low pick to help shore up your defense, and they didn't do it. Like I think that that's a total miss by a lot of teams. And I mean, I'm thankful.
Do you think Bill would have made that trade if they gave it to him?
No. If they gave up a high enough pick, I bet he would have done it.
If the Chiefs are looking to give up a first round pick, I'll take that.
Even a second. Like if they gave up a second or first, even I'm leaning a third. Like if they gave up one,
anything's better than what we got. So
we got a 6th-round pick in 2 years. That's that's pretty bad. And I mean, I'll tell you the teams that messed up in that trade: the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Bucks. Those 3 teams in the Packers.
Well, the Bucks settled for taking Sherman off the couch. So
yeah. Well, the Packers really screwed up because if any team's going to give up picks right now, it's the Packers because they're trying to milk this Aaron Rodgers year as much as they can. And the fact that they didn't trade for him is absolutely crazy. Like the fact that they didn't want to give up a 4th-round pick next year for a year of Stephon Gilmore to try to help them salvage this year with Aaron Rodgers, possibly Devontae Adams if he wants to leave. Like they could be nothing next year, and I think they, try to take advantage of the year they have. So I don't know. That was a little segue, but the Chiefs are in trouble, man. And like I said, I think it's a passing of the torch. The Bills are playing unbelievable. Their defense is great. Their quarterback play is awesome. Their tight end. If you didn't listen to me a couple weeks ago, you're like, I hope you did, about Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox is playing like a tight end 1. So like, across the board, man, they have a really good team. Running back, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback, line, defense. It's like across the board, they're the team to beat in the AFC. It stinks that they're in our division, but they're the team to beat. And I think we got to start saying who, instead of who's going to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, it's going to be who's playing the Bills in the AFC Championship. Moving on to the Ravens and Colts game. This was during the amazing second walk-off victory for the Red Sox, so I didn't get to watch a lot of this game live, but I did see the end, and I was catching in between. Ravens come back against the Colts. Colts have a huge lead.
19-point lead.
19-point lead, and they choked that away to Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown, and Mark Andrews, the 3-headed monster of the Ravens. And I mean, this is another team that's like, I think it's like looking like Bills Ravens. Like this is like 2 of the best. I think these are the 2 best teams in the AFC division.
I think this was a huge win for the Ravens. I mean, you're down big at home. Easily could have just packed it in, said, all right, we just, we got punched in the mouth. Colts take this one. You have Jonathan Taylor running all over you. You have crazy defensive plays running around.
Carson Wentz.
Right. You're down big, pack it in. Claw back. Lamar Jackson goes video game mode. He's not giving up. Like you said, Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown, touchdown by touchdown, point by point, claw your way back in. And we have it here on the notes. Chance to win comes down to the kickers, and here we are. I mean, it was a great game. Huge comeback. And then the kicker is the difference. We've seen this before.
Yeah, that was the tough thing about it was great for the Ravens. It was terrible for the Colts because the Colts clawed their way back to the game and they put themselves in a spot that they should have won that game. You have it wasn't a close kick by any means, but it was, how long was that last kick? Was it like 40 yards?
Something like that, around
Something
there.
like that. So it's not a gimme, but it's still like it's definitely a makeable kick, right?
It's not a 56-yarder in a monsoon.
Right. And that was way closer than what the other kick was. So it was that was a little disappointing because I mean, we talked about it last week for on the hot seat. We thought that Frank Reich, we said, is he on the hot seat? And I thought they did a pretty good job, you know, hanging with the Ravens. They should have closed that game out, and they were in a position to close, and they just missed it. And, you know, Blankenship had a great first year, but he was terrible the other day.
Yeah, Hot Rod didn't have a great night.
He had a terrible night, and he missed it. Like, to be honest, the game shouldn't have been there because he missed a ton of other kicks earlier in the game. So, um, you know, there's not much to really. I mean, the Colts have a really good team. It was nice to see Carson Wentz
Yeah, it was kind of Carson Wentz's coming out party again.
Yeah, so it was nice to see that. Jonathan Taylor played unbelievable. I mean, if you can make a couple kicks, you have that win. And
that's honestly a season-changing win if you're the Colts. I mean, you instead of 1-4, you're 2-3, coming off a big win against the Ravens. You kind of, if they put the pedal down, you smoke them. Feeling pretty good about yourself. Carson Wentz played a great game. Your running back had a huge game. Defense did pretty well against a former MVP. That could have changed a lot of things for the Colts. I'm not saying their season's over by any stretch. There's plenty of games left, but it's one you would have probably like to have.
It reminds me of my fantasy football season where I played Russell Wilson instead of Justin Herbert and I lost. But if I just play Justin Herbert, it's a totally different ball game. Now I'm 2-3, and then I have a chance to kind of make a run at it. Now I'm 1-4, and I'm ready to blow it up. Colts are fine. They're in a crap division.
That's a very good point. And we helped them out.
And we helped them out. They get to play the Jets. They get to play the 49ers with no quarterback. They get to play the Texans a couple times. They get to play the Jaguars 2 times. I mean, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine, and I think they could string together a couple wins, and, if they can beat the Titans. I mean, how lucky are the Titans to be in this division, huh? They're 3-2, and they're they're 2 games up in their division, and they're 3-2. That's pretty crazy. Let's move on. Let's move on to our main game of the week. Patriots Texans. Oh man, the Dodgers are going to take the lead this early. Dodgers are already up in the bottom of the first.
Plenty of ball game left. We've seen this.
Ball game first. I mean, I don't know how I would say. We already talked about Gilmore, so we don't have to talk about that. But this isn't really a great win. I'll take it. It's a win.
A win is a win, and considering how bad the first half was, it's kind of crazy we actually got back in this. But a win is a win. You got to beat the teams you got to beat. There's no reason Mills should have put up the stat line he did, but he did. It was disappointing from a defensive perspective, but I got to give credit to Mac Jones for pulling this one out of his ass.
He is a tough son of a gun. That's what I wrote in the notes, dude. His face is all bloody. He just keeps getting beat up, and he sticks right in there and makes the throws that he's got to make. You hit the nail on the head why this game makes me nervous. Is our defense is just so inconsistent, and it's getting annoying. You held Tom Brady, who's playing like the best quarterback in the league right now, the best quarterback of all time. You held him in check a week ago.
The defense got up for that Bucs game, and they came crashing down for this Texans game.
Yeah, you hold that guy in check, but you let this guy Mills run all over you and convert 4th downs, drive. The first drive,
what did they convert? 6, 7 4th downs? It was nuts.
And I mean, you got to understand that the Texans have nothing to lose, man. They're just playing with borrowed money. They're just trying. They're going to try to beat any team that comes in, and they don't really care because they're expected to lose. So they're going to be going for 4th downs. They're going to, you needed to blow this team out. You didn't blow them out. You got the win. That's the good thing, the good news. But, I mean, that's concerning coming into next week when you got one of the best teams in the league coming against you in the Cowboys. You can't let Dak, be able to convert all those plays.
And he can.
Zeke run, and he can. You can't let Zeke run all over you, which he can. They're gonna have receivers CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper running all over the place. Like this is concerning. I'm okay with that. To be honest with you, the offensive line looked okay. I thought they did
All things considered, yeah.
considering that it was a totally new starting offensive line.
Probably the best they've looked all season.
To be honest, yeah. But defense has got to figure it out. I mean, especially the reason I wrote down in this Gilmore era is done was because the corners weren't that great.
J.C. Jackson looked like absolute dog shit. That was so
exposed,
bad.
Dude.
He got mossed, and then McCourty sold out trying to get the tackle and I think it was Moore break free for that long touchdown. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I'm not going to get on. I mean, he got mossed, but J.C. Jackson, he plays the ball. McCourty doesn't, drop into a safety and just lets the guy run. That was insane. Not a great defensive look. I mean, you let a practice squad guy get over 100 yards. You let David Mills have a career day. It wasn't good all around. I think maybe the bet Judon, he's proven to be the defensive MVP right now.
He could be a potential defensive player of the year, dude. He's playing unbelievable.
I know.
He's all over.
Single-handedly, pushed him back to a field goal on one of the drives.
Like he's literally carrying the defense. And the other thing that is kind of nice to have back is Jamie Collins. Jamie Collins, like he gets his first sack in his first game back. He rubs the belly.
The third stint of Jamie Collins.
Dude, I watched that in hey, they're 1-0 in the third stint with Jamie Collins. We were watching the game outside of Fenway, and when he did that, I just started rubbing my belly. And Molly was getting so ticked off at me. I kept doing it throughout the game. Whenever we scored a run in the Red Sox,
oh my God.
And she was getting so mad at me. It was hilarious. I think I tweeted that out. I need water. I'm feeling a little parched. But yeah, I mean, a win's a win. We needed it. You need to win the ones
needed it
to win. And if we lost that game, I mean, it's a different story. We're talking about, this is a developmental year. Let's kumbaya. Let's happy to try to get a couple wins. Now, you're second place in the division. Who would have thought?
Second place, and then you get a good litmus test against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are good. This is where we find out. Are we going to be able to hang with the good teams, or are we middle of the pack? I mean, like I said, you got to beat the teams you got to beat. The Texans were that. We played the Bucs as good as we possibly could have played them. Now it's the Cowboys. Are we going to roll over and die, or are we going to give them a game? This is going to be a huge test for this team.
Interesting enough, I mean, the Pats are 0-3 at home and 2-0 on the road. Do we win all our road games?
Warriors, baby.
We are road warriors. We got to win a couple of these at home, though. We're playing the Cowboys. Like you said, we got to pull out a couple of these. Win the ones you should and steal the ones that you can. And
got to steal them against the good teams.
And, I mean, if you can rattle off a nice little winning streak here, you beat the Texans, try to pull out one against the Cowboys, then you get the Jets at home where you can beat them. That's what we call a winning streak. You win more than one in a row. That is a winning streak.
That's a good way to, flip the script.
And you know what? All it takes is a couple losses for the Bills, and then you're in it. I mean, we just talked about, I don't think it's going to happen. They got a pretty easy schedule today. Oh, my God. The Bills may go undefeated for the next, 5 weeks.
We play them twice, man, so we have an opportunity to at least get 2 games back.
Not for 6 weeks. They play the Titans this week. They got the Dolphins. They got the Jaguars and the Jets. They may win 4 games in a row here. Then they got the Colts and the Saints.
You got to keep pace then.
That's right. You got to keep pace, and you got to try. If you want to have a chance at division, you need to stay within 2 games, because stay within 2 games.
Control your own destiny.
You control your own destiny. So, this was a much needed win. It was very discouraging in the beginning, but I feel pretty good. I feel good about it because now you won the one you should. Nick Folk, can we just give him an MVP award now? Because he's just 2 years in a row just putting the team on his back.
I know
he missed that extra point.
My man's doing all he can right now. Him and Mac Jones doing all they can.
At least he's got a quarterback to help him. Unlike last year, he had a punter to help him. let's move on. We're going to try to bang through the rest of the NFL stuff so we can talk Red Sox. Let's go to our picks of the week.
Picks of the week.
So picks of the week, we pick a game of the NFL season this week and see if we're right. Right now, Danny Football took a 1-game lead over me.
I told you, man, early. We have so many games left. I turned it around.
Games. You turn it around. You started 0-2. Started 2-0. This is 3 losses in a row, Danny Football. Can we start talking a collapse? An absolute collapse. What do you got for pick of the week?
I'm gonna go Packers over Chicago. Chicago got a good win last week. Packers got a win as well. AFC North matchup, old rivalry, gotta love it. But I think Aaron Rodgers he's on a whole nother planet right now. So I think he's gonna truck the Chicago Bears.
I am gonna go Colts over Texans, a little divisional game.
An AFC South battle.
An AFC South garbage division battle. We're playing for second place here, folks. We're playing for second place. Both teams are 1-4. If I'm the Texans, I may want to start thinking about tanking for the top pick in the draft to try to get a quarterback or someone in the draft. It's definitely not a high quarterback draft, but so that's why I would start losing games. And as far all intents and purposes, I think that's going to happen. Colts are better than I think their record shows. They have a good quarterback. They have a really good running back. The wide receivers are a little less to be desirable in the defense. But I mean, I think they're better than what their record says. And if Carson Wentz plays the way that he did, Taylor played on another level last week. So if he plays anything close to it, I think they'll be okay. And I think that's going to be a big win for them and try to win the next couple, kind of start them on a little bit of a winning streak, trying to win the division, because that division is wide open. Anyone can win that division. Even maybe not. I was going to say maybe the dumpster fire Jaguars, but I don't think that's even possible. I don't think there's a chance. If they win the division, I'll eat my tie. There's no way they're winning. But between the Colts and the Titans, anything's possible. So that's who I'm going with. Let's move on to waiver pickup of the week. Who do you got, Dave Football? I mean, you got your waiver claim in early, so I couldn't. You had the best one of the week. So
I'm going Devontae Booker. Great week 5. It's looking like he's set up to continue this momentum with the injury. So I'm going Devontae Booker for now.
He's definitely the slam dunk waiver pickup of the week. If you have a top waiver, you probably won't have a chance at him unless you're one in the waiver wire, because he's going to be there for the next 5 weeks, and there's no one. Danny Dimes is hurt. Every wide receiver on that team is hurt. Barkley's hurt, so he's definitely a good player to pick up. I'm going with another Giant for the same reason. I'm going Tony, rostered in 19% of leagues. He had a huge week last week, 10 receptions, 13 targets, 189 yards, people, and he also had a rush for 7, almost 30 fantasy points. His targets have gone up every week for the last 3 weeks, and I mean since the beginning of the season, I guess you could say that too. 13 targets is pretty good at 10 catches. That's unbelievable. With Sterling Shepard and now Kenny Galladay's out for extended period of time, I think he is, and obviously Barkley, I think he's definitely someone worth putting on your roster and seeing what happens. So I think he's definitely a good person to roster, but definitely listen to Danny Football's advice and go pick up D-Book if he's available in your leagues. So that's our football of the week, football talk of the week. Now we can talk about our beloved Red Sox. I think it's safe to say the Sox are hot, Danny Football. The Sox are definitely
They're a
hot.
little bit warm. They're definitely a little bit warm right now.
Let me start this off. Is there a team that can beat us in this playoffs?
Not that I see.
Not that I see, man. Of any teams?
No,
I'm not.
No. The Astros, had they swept, maybe, but with the White Sox able to take a game off them, it shows there's a break in the armor there. You can beat the Astros. And then you look across the NL. Braves, They just clinched. They look good, but at the same time, Milwaukee could have been, Freddie Freeman home run away from a 50-50, maybe goes 2-2, and they're going back to Milwaukee. Dodgers and the Giants, they're going back and forth. Giants don't scare me, and the Dodgers don't scare me, despite them being two of the better teams in the NL. Considering that the Red Sox are undefeated at Fenway, we're seeing just how much of a home field advantage that gives them. I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of any team right now, especially heading into the ALCS where the format is 2-3-2. So you're telling me all we have to do is split in Houston, and we come back for 3 in Boston? That's almost even too dangerous for the Houston Astros. So looking at everything right now, I know the Giants and the Dodgers are still going. That hasn't been settled, so we don't know who's going to come out of that. But out of who's left, there's not really a team that I look at and say, I don't really like our chances.
I don't know if there's a harder lineup in baseball right now. There's if you go down the line, the if we let me pull up the Red Sox line. They're getting it from all sides of the lineup. Look at Kike Hernandez is probably the hottest baseball player right now in hitting wise. It's unbelievable. He's a looker too, but he's unbelievably Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot. Unbelievable. Devers is finally kind of getting his feet under him from last game. Bogey, Verdugo, JD was huge coming back. Maybe a difference maker in that lineup coming back, even though he's banged up. Renfroe is solid. Our hero, Christian Vasquez, even got in the hitting column. And Christian Arroyo is great in the 9 spot. So, I mean, they got a week off. They got not a week off, but they got a couple extra days to kind of get arms rested. And I think the biggest positive for the Red Sox right now is there's a couple of difference makers, I guess. Like you said, the home field advantage I think is huge. I mean, even the Rays were saying it's there's nothing like playing at Fenway, dude. It's they're on top of you. They're taking the breath out of you. But I think the main difference in this that I think gives us the advantage is Alex Cora. Alex Cora, with the exception of maybe one play, one move, he has pushed every single right button as a manager. He the finesse to get the pinch hitter from Cho, and then he goes he's playing chess right now. It's like Bill Belichick coaching football. It's he is making every right call he can make. And the biggest thing that I think is all the players have bought into what he's doing, and they believe in what he is selling. And that is a dangerous combination for a team going into the postseason. And it shows with the last 2 nights. You gave up the lead twice in the 8th inning, 2-run lead in the 8th inning. You're 6 outs away. We texted back and forth. 6 outs away from the ALCS. 6 outs away from going up 2-1, and you give it up. It's very easy to pack it in, especially in that second game where you have the go-ahead run on second base, no outs. So easy to pack it in or lose faith in it. I don't think anyone wavered that they were going to win that game.
No.
So it's unbelievable.
Kind of, going down the timeline, getting us back up to speed. And I agree with what you said about Cora. I honestly think Cora was the biggest acquisition we could have made in the offseason because immediate culture change. All these guys buy in, like you said. Yankees game. Nate Eovaldi comes out, shoves it down their throat, pushes all the right buttons, plays the bullpen perfectly. Everything goes according to plan. We knock out the Yankees easy. Fenway's rocking. Game 1 against the Rays. I mean, Erod goes out there, kind of throws in a stinker, but you got to give Cora credit. He had a quick hook on him. He threw Houck out there. No, it was who did he throw out? Was it Houck in game 1? Or was Houck game 2?
Houck came game 2.
Game 2.
It was after Sale. Houck came in for Sale.
So game 1, he had a quick hook for Erod, stopped the bleeding. It's just unfortunately got shut out 5-0. Game 2, Sale. I don't know what happened to Chris Sale in game 2, man, but Chris Sale gets absolutely blown up in the first inning. Cora doesn't panic, goes to Tanner Houck, tells his guys, "Hey, plenty of game left. We're not done. I mean, this is top second. Like, what are we gonna hang our heads for? We're in this game." They claw back to back jacks. JD goes deep. Steal game 2, and that's really all you got to do. If you told me going into the ALDS, the Sox are gonna split the first 2 in Tampa, I take that every day of the week. I take that every day of the week because you're coming back for Boston for 2. And game 3 is what game 3, you were there. So I kind of want to give you the ball to run with it. Break down game 3 for me.
Game 3, I'm going to say this. That was the greatest game I've ever witnessed in Fenway Park. It was literally, I've seen some crazy games like the 4 home run game. I was there. The Mookie, 20 pitch at bat where he hit the home run. I was at that game. This blows. I was at the Johnny Pesky retirement game. I've seen a lot of great games at Derek Jeter's last game at Fenway. I've seen a lot of great games. This one blows it out of the water, and it was I think maybe because it was playoffs. I mean, I saw the Lackey ALDS game. I think it was the Lackey game when he's "That's my guy" game.
Such a fucking cool game.
That was just an unbelievable. That was kind of similar feelings because that guy was hated for 3 years when he came here. He was just ridiculed, and then he comes out and shoves, and the whole crowd is behind him. That was a really cool game to see. But this one just felt different. Everyone was standing from the first pitch of the game to the last pitch of the game. It was just the Fenway fans were unbelievable, and it just I don't know if I can explain it. It was just the feel of it. I mean, it's crazy because you started off base hit, home run. That's how this game started for the Rays. So then you're like, oh, geez. And then the next pitch, I'll never forget it. The next pitch was a strike. And everyone just stood up and got, it was the 9th inning, and everyone got jacked. On a 1-pitch strike to the third guy up, and then we got out of the inning. Then Schwarber hits a first-run bomb. Get it 2-1, make it a 2-1 ball game. And then you're like, all right, this is our game. It's a 2-1 game. I mean, we're right in this game. The momentum's all with us. And, I mean, just throughout that game, and then we got the lead early. We gave it up. And, kind of got a little silent after that, the 2 runs in the 8th. You got a little nervous with Robles giving up the 2 runs. He's able to get out of it. But, I was saying the whole time, get Whitlock in the game because Whitlock
nails.
is nails.
Nails, man, nails.
He is unbelievable, but I don't think I've been more excited. Definitely live, but maybe beside the Tom Brady Falcons Super Bowl when we came back. I don't think I've ever been emotional after as emotional as after that win. That was the series. That was for the series. Whoever lost that game was probably losing the series. And I mean, the Rays did make a great effort to come back. But it was just full of roller coaster of emotions. I mean, you got the play at the end of the top of the 13th when it bounces off Hunter Renfroe and goes into the bullpen. You're like, oh my God, I've never seen this play before in my life. What is this call? And they got it right. All the Rays can complain about it. They got the call
They
right.
play in a fucking bullshit park where home runs are counted when they hit off the ceiling. So I don't want to hear Rays fans complaining that a ricochet off of Hunter Renfroe's hip going over the short porch is some sort of form of cheating or getting screwed. Whereas if you see the video that Red Sox Stats pulled up on Twitter, Kevin Cash argued the same thing in his favor 2 years ago. So Ray fans can shove it.
Exactly. There was the same. I was going to say they got the same exact call 2 years ago, and they knew the rule. Kevin Cash knows the rule. That's why he didn't argue it. He came out and asked a question on it, was it intentional? Because he is right. If he intentionally hits it over the wall,
yeah. It's one thing if it's intentional, but if you watch the replay, Hunter Renfroe, like a fish out of water, it just runs into the ball. Honestly,
yeah. And it was funny. The next day, the same play happened, and it just wasn't Renfroe. It bounced in front of Renfroe.
Exactly, almost the exact same spot.
Play. So, I mean, then you have that big momentum play, and I want to say the absolute cojones of one Nick Pivetta should be absolutely should not be lost on Red Sox fans because that
No,
kid
I
went out
think
there.
I think that performance will go down in the same breath as Nate Eovaldi's in the 2018 World Series. That was just balls on the table. Here I am. Let's go.
And I got to be honest, when that play happened, the double, I started to think like, man, this is like Nate Eovaldi all over again. Like that, like the kid absolutely shoves. He's supposed to pitch less than 24 hours
Gives
later.
you all he can.
Gives you all he can. Gives you 6 innings of like just absolutely, because the offense wasn't getting it done in the extra innings. Just keeps you in it, and then he gives up that that double that just bad luck, and then it ends up works out in your favor, and you get a chance to win the game. And man, like when we got out of that inning with
That's
we
huge.
get,
That changes everything, man. It's almost like the A-Rod slapping the ball out of Bronson Arroyo's glove.
yeah.
There's no reason that should break your way, but for some reason it does, and it just changes everything.
And I was gonna say, after that play that came in our favor, we got out of the inning, I said, "There's no way we're losing this game.
No,
There's absolutely no way we're losing this game."
the
Cool, slam in his chest.
the fictional baseball gods are on your side at that point. There's no way you're going down.
And I will say this, Danny Football, this will go in lore. Okay, this is lore. Not the last time Christian Vasquez was up when he hit the home run, but the time before that, when it was like the 9th inning or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if he hits a home run here, I will buy a Christian Vasquez jersey. I swear to God. And then he popped out to second base or whatever he did. I was like, gosh darn it. Next play at bat, he gets a home run.
Did you give him the option that time? No.
No, I didn't. I didn't say it. So that's why I did say it the time before, didn't count. But I was like, man, if Christian Vasquez hits a home run, because it's like he's not known for his bat.
He was just trying to save you some coins so you can get to game 3.
That's right. You know what? I may even just go out there and get a Christian Vasquez.
Regardless.
Danny Football and I are trying to make our way to game 3 of the ALCS. We gotta maybe collect some cans and bottles and try to figure out some money situation.
Start panhandling on Mass Ave, see what we can do.
I may have to work a couple extra shifts at the school, but
it'll all be worth it.
It will all be worth it.
So I was following. Unfortunately, I was following Game 3 on my phone just because they had it on the MLB Network, which for some ungodly reason, I don't know why the MLB is doing that, but regardless.
Can I just say, I heard that sorry, not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
We're going to be on Fox for the next series. Can we please not be on Fox? If I had to choose between going
that's the unfortunate thing, man, is I think TBS and TNT are NL, and then I think Fox has AL from what I can remember.
Because now I'm going to have to listen to Joe Buck for the next 4 games. And instead
Dude,
of Don Arcillo.
Smoltz was brutal on game 4. Absolutely brutal.
Dude, that play at third base.
Let's break down game 4. So you were at game 3. I was incredibly jealous. I feel like everyone I know has been to one of the games so far, and I just feel like left out. So that's why I want to go to game 3.
Change.
I know. So I feel like everyone's been there. So you got game 3, which was insane. I would have done anything to be there. I'm glad you and the missus got to see that.
Yeah.
So game 4, up 2-1, still in Fenway. 2 shots to close it out, but you want to close it out at home. Mm-hmm. Red Sox jump out to a 5-0 lead. Rafi Devers 3-run jack. Everyone's doing their thing. Erod is pitching his absolute balls off. Like, you want to talk about a redemption game. Erod had that in game 4. Erod's pitching his heart out. Offense comes alive, gives you a 5-run lead. But for some ungodly reason, I don't know if John Smoltz just hated his time here in Boston or what it was. This man, no matter what was happening, well, man, the Rays aren't out of this one yet. Oh, they score a run here. They're back in it. Oh, here come the Rays. I'm like, dude, they're losing 5-0. How are you possibly getting some sort of positive vibes for the Rays right now? And then sure enough, I mean, Rafi Devers barely misses a line drive. That turns into a double. They score that one. It's 5-1. And then same thing, they hit the bloop into the ground rule double spot from the night before. It's another leadoff double. They score that one.
I think they had 3 straight doubles.
And then Wander fucking Franco, man. I can't stand this guy, and he's only a freaking rookie. This dude, I hate him, and I say that in a loving way. Like I don't hate the man by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure he's from what I saw last night, he's an amazing baseball player, and he was getting his team fired up. I just detest the fact that he's so good and that he plays for a division rival.
Yeah, it's a respect thing.
It's a respect thing. I respect the hell out of him. This kid, 20 years old. You want to talk about being ready for the moment? This kid mashes an absolute nuke off of Tanner Houck. Ties the game. Not ties the game, but gets, pulls him within striking distance. He's trotting around the bases. He's pumped up. He's getting his team going. And I'm thinking, like, maybe we just walk this guy from here on out. I don't know if we pitch this guy anymore. And then,
the same thing.
It's a 5-3 ball game. John Smoltz. Oh, here come the Rays. Here come the Rays. And then the 8th inning comes, and just like the night before, tack on 2. Ryan Brazier shits his pants, and all the air is sucked out of Fenway once again. You turn to Whitlock. Whitlock gets you out of it. Thank God. Whitlock gets you out of it.
Nails.
But, I think I texted you, like, we've seen this movie before. Blow a 2-run lead in the 8th. We've seen this movie before. The only difference being is that you get a gift Verdugo error to put him on second with no outs. And he gets doubled out. He gets doubled up on a fucking catch and throw at third base.
Oh, yeah.
And the Rays are jumping around. They're feeling themselves. And, I'm sitting at home. I'm thinking, the Rays have the momentum. Like, John Smoltz spoke this into an existence. Like, this dude put it out in the universe, and it's happening. I was scared, bro. I was scared.
Well, the thing about that play, should he have gone in that situation? Absolutely not. I don't think he should have doubled up there. But he was safe. I'm going to say right now, he was safe.
And again, I'm going to get on Smoltz for this. The dude's preaching up and down that you can clearly see Verdugo's hand come off the bag. They must have replayed that thing at least 5 times. I was looking for centimeters where his glove came off that base. I didn't see it. How the third base ump called that out in real time through the naked eye, I'll never know. That was crazy. And that being said, Jack did tweet it out. You don't make your outs at first and third, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I disagreed with, like, he shouldn't have gone. So, I mean, you say what you can't, like, you made a mistake. That's bad anyway. But here's the thing. John Smoltz said, and the third base umpire said, his hand came off the bag. So when you go to the replay, you should see if his hand came off the bag to make the determination if he was safe or out. We saw probably 30 camera angles. His hand was not off the bag. The bottom part of his palm, his wrist, was on the bag the entire time. And John Smoltz was brutal, dude. He was absolutely terrible that entire game. It was tough to listen to. I don't know what game he was watching, and I hope he's not on the Fox network, because I think I'd rather take Joe Buck for a game for 4 games than John Schmaltz.
Rob Marcello is not going to be happy that we're dragging Joe Buck, but I'm not a huge fan of him either.
I do not like Joe Buck, but I will take him over John Schmaltz. And I know he doesn't do the same thing. I know he's the play-by-play, but I will give me Troy Aikman. I don't even care. Get him on Friday Night Baseball. I don't really care. I can't stand John Smoltz for another game. I take A-Rod, to be honest with you, and that's saying a lot.
Honestly.
That's saying a lot, dude.
But you have the Verdugo throw out. Everything's going the Rays' way at that point. I gotta give Fenway credit. They started getting on the Rays after that. You survive the top of the 9th. You head into the bottom of the 9th. Anything can happen. You get a huge hit from Vasquez again. Christian Royal lays down a picture-perfect bunt. Could not have been a better bunt. And then Travis Shaw, pinch hit, get a little bit of luck. Choi messes up the scoop at first. And that really made the huge difference, man, because instead of being third base and 2 outs, All of a sudden, it's runners on the corners, 1 out, and the sack flies in play, and Kike Hernandez gets it done.
Yeah, I would put that more on the third baseman than Choi. That was a terrible throw to Choi. Like he
Dude, that
rushed
third
it.
baseman was lucking out all night. Did you see him throw Arroyo on a 3-hopper? I couldn't believe it.
It rolled it was a ground ball to the first baseman.
Oh my god! So that third baseman, man, he was lucking out all night, and it finally just ran out.
So I even said like someone was giving Choi like that one. That's a tough scoop to have. That's like in his belly. Like he's just.
You even got to give him credit for blocking it, because if that gets by him, it's game over.
It's game over. So, and you're right. And if that doesn't happen, the sack fly isn't in play. But the thing I loved about that, like in an era where it's all analytics and
that was a great small ball inning.
It was old school small ball inning, which I absolutely loved.
Old school lead guy gets on, you bunt him over, get a little bit of luck to get him the third, and then sack fly, baby.
It was everyone did their job, and it was awesome. And I think the best part of that entire win and why like it was so like emotional and so like feels different than any other year was I think the meeting between Alex Cora and his daughter after the game.
Oh my god,
just like
dude.
crying on the mound because like that man has been and you know what? I think
that dude's been on a roller coaster these last 3 years.
The thing that I don't like, I think it's time to get over it, is he owned up to it. He paid his dues. And people can say, you know, he left a COVID year, he left a short year. No, he owned up to it more than all the players on the team that we're about to play did.
Honestly.
Who benefited 100%. And I said, I don't want to talk too much more about it because it's old news. If you're telling me the bench coach of a team was running a whole organization, you are out of your mind.
100%.
That's like saying Steve Belichick ran a cheating scandal.
100%. 100%.
And Belichick didn't know.
For the axe to fall, arguably the hardest on Alex Cora for being a bench coach on the Houston Astros is insane.
And he wore it. He
took it. He took it on the chops. You go from the absolute high of the 2018 World Series to a low of, you know, missing the playoffs in 2019. You have a low year, you know, it happens. But I mean, you take this guy out behind the shed and like crucify him for something that arguably he didn't have the big
little.
I'm not going to be ignorant and say he didn't have a hand in it, but he didn't. By no means was he the mastermind that the media and the Houston Astros players made him out to be. Not even close. Yeah. So he goes from the high of a World Series to the absolute low of losing his job to getting his job back, getting this team turned around, getting into the playoffs, win the wild card game against your arch rivals, beat your division rivals at a 100 win team in the Tampa Bay Rays, and 3 years removed from your World Series championship in which you traded Mookie Betts, you were fired, you had a COVID shortened season, and going into this season, not a lot of people gave you a lot of credit. To be in the ALCS is insane. Hats off to Alex Cora.
And I mean, we didn't talk about him last week for Coach of the Year. He's got to be a candidate for Manager of the Year too, because what he was able to do with this team, a team that no one really saw as even a playoff team. I mean, we said they were a playoff team, but going into this season, everyone said this was
we said wild card, and I can try to find it. I think there were some places that were picking us to finish like third in the division.
Yeah.
And that's considering, you know, Baltimore's an automatic fourth.
Yeah. So give this guy a lot of credit. He deserves it. He's the best manager in baseball, I think. Just the way he's able to.
Has to be Manager of the Year. Has to be.
And I am so happy for him for after the year he's had and like all he's got to go through and the adversity he has to go through. And I think it showed after that win. You beat 100%. The best
that was vindication for Alex Cora, man. That was vindication.
And I mean, the job's not over. He's going against the team. I mean,
house money, man. We say it all the time. We got house money. We're not even supposed to be here, and you're telling me now that we're going up against the Astros. Talk about full circle, man. We're playing with house money. You got a Valdi game 1, Sale game 2. Once again, man, all you have to do is split on the road. You get 3 back in Boston. Sox in 4. Fuck it.
Yeah. I just it's so annoying too. Like I'm thinking, because now all we're gonna hear about for the next week is it's the cheaters versus each other in the ACLS. That's all you're gonna hear. But you know what?
They can have it. They can
You
have
know
it.
what?
They're not here.
Yeah, I'm just happy that we got like he gets his moment in the sun because he deserves it. And the thing that's a shame is I'm looking at the Astros lineup. Altuve, Bregman, Correa, and Brant. I don't know if Brantley was really there, but those three guys who were part of that Astros team didn't get one game suspension. If you want to look for someone to really take your anger out on the cheating scandal, look at those guys because Alex Cora paid his dues. What's his name? Who was the manager back
Hinch.
then? Hinch paid his dues. The GM paid his dues. These players did not, and they were the sole benefactor of the scandal. So I don't know. I'm just I even Beltran, who was a player, and he like took the fall for all players, which is crazy. I'm just happy for to keep it positive. I'm happy for Alex Cora. That moment on the mound with him hugging his daughter and him like literally crying was absolutely like that. It was a great moment to see him be able to like kind of realize, man, I'm back at the
He's
top.
back. He's back.
He's
He's
back.
back. That was huge.
And you're right. That was the best acquisition for the Red Sox. Heim
One
Bloom's the best
1000%.
acquisition.
1000%. That's better than any slugger you can get, any Gold Glove outfielder, any Cy Young Award pitcher. You get a guy like Alex Cora, proven winner, proven locker room guy, proven able to turn a team around. That's worth his weight in gold, man.
So looking ahead to this series, right? We got Astros Friday night, game one. It doesn't say who they're playing, but I'm assuming we're going Evaldi.
Yeah, it's a Valdi Sale 1-2.
That's it, 1-2, and then
Yep.
probably Erod.
And then I'm
three.
assuming it's going to be either Erod or Pavetta game 3.
Man, that's so. And Hauk's probably going to be a utility guy out of the pen. Probably like a long relief guy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would assume.
So I
Do we want to do a series prediction here?
yeah, I want to do a prediction. I'm going Sox in Sox in 6. No,
Sox in 6. Okay.
Sox in what do? They do 2 at home.
It's 2-3-2.
3. I can't do math.
2-3-2.
2-3-2. I'm
So
gonna do
2
Sox.
Houston, 3 Boston, 2 back in Houston.
I'm gonna do Sox in 5.
I like it. I like it.
I think
I
they
like
close
it.
out at home.
Split Houston, and then you get your 3 at home. I'm going
Yeah.
Sox in 4. I'm going to
You
go
think
Sox
they-
in 4.
I think they sweep them.
Steal. You have Evaldi game 1. Take that. Sale, I think, bounces back game 2. Take that. And then you're back in Boston, man. They're undefeated 3-0. Let's ride, baby. Sox in 4.
Sox in 4, dude. I'd be so hyped. I know we can't get tickets to Game 4 because you have work, but man, wouldn't
That
it
would be
something
nuts.
just to
Heading
get
into a game 4
tickets?
up 3-0. Oh my God.
Fire me up for Game 4. Yeah, I think it's the Red Sox series. I think they have all the momentum in this game. I mean, even though the Astros just annihilated the White Sox today, but
They're
I don't
supposed to
thi-
be there.
they're supposed to beat the
They're
White
supposed to
Sox.
be there. The Red Sox were damn near close to playing a 163 game just to play the Yankees in the wild card.
Did you see the
So,
Yankees that
we-
someone was like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So we were, borderline. We're left for dead. Rafi Devers hits 2 bombs on the Nationals. We host the wild card game. You beat the Yankees, get all that momentum. You get punched in the mouth by the Rays in game 1. You win 3 straight. Why not? Why not us?
Did you see the thing that Yankees fans were saying? The Yankees would have swept the Rays. And I said on our Twitter, I was like, well, yeah, it's too bad that the Yankees couldn't make it to the divisional round.
The Yankees would have swept the Rays. Yeah, well, if they had gotten there, they probably could have. So,
is the Rays a likable team?
nah.
That's
They
the thing that's
they
the thing I
are.
struggle with.
If they weren't in our division, they'd probably be a likable team. I think it's only because they're in our division, but
I want to be honest. I want to hate them so bad. I
I
really do.
I do, but they're not like the Yankees are the Yankees, and like the Rays, it's such a small payroll team. Like they're supposed to be underdogs, and they hit on all these draft picks and these trades. Like the Chris Archer trade was an insane return on investment. It's just because they're in the division. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason I don't like him either. But when I say I don't like him, it's that I don't root for them. I can't. The Yankees, I can't stand. Like I will never support the
Right?
Yankees.
No, I hate the Yankees.
Even if the Yankees were in the playoffs and I wasn't, I would not root for the Yankees. If
Right.
the Rays were in the playoffs, I think I would root for them.
It just depends on who's across the. They just happen to be across the dugout from us. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
If it was the Blue Jays, I would have felt the same about the Blue Jays. If it was the Orioles, somehow I would have felt the same way about the Orioles. If it was the freaking Cleveland Indians, I would have felt the same way about them, or the Kansas City Royals, anyone.
Yeah.
So if it's in a vacuum, pretty much the regular season, if it's in a vacuum and then you're like, oh, the Rays won their game last night 2-1, I'll be like, oh, good for them. I don't give a it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you're if you're on the other side of the battlefield, man, it's if it's me or you, it's gonna be me.
The reason I say that is like Kevin Cash.
I detest Kevin Cash.
Well, even after that game, like I have to say, like, well, everyone was like complaining about that call. Kevin Cash did not complain about the call.
That's a good point. That's a good
so
point.
that's the one reason I say
I don't like his view on the game of like pulling his starter after an inning and 2/3 because he doesn't want him to see the lineup the second time. And I'm like, dude, you're trying to outsmart the room and it's not gonna work.
I think I don't like how he manages a baseball game, but I like him as like a.
He's a former Red Sox, so I can't knock him too bad.
Like I just like a lot of like a Yankees person would be like, oh, that's a brutal. Like I could fully see Aaron Boone saying like that's a BS call.
Oh
that's
my
gotta
God,
be like
dude.
I can fully see
Boone's such a rah guy. He 1000% would do it. He'd be the first one to like get in the umpire's face and be like, the rule book's bullshit. That you gotta have a feel for the game, man.
Yeah.
And the ump would be like, no, we're gonna follow the rule book on this one, Boone. Sorry, Booney, but we're gonna go on the rule book with this one.
So that's why I was just.
You gotta give my guys a shot. All right.
Yeah. Did you hear that the Yankees plan on bringing Boone back?
By all means, please do, guys. By all means.
If you guys want to back another
if you guys want to keep doing the same song and dance every season, let's ride. Let's go.
Keep spending your money and wasting your draft pick.
Absolutely. Blow up your farm system, blow up the cap. Why not? Let's go.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I thought about that after the game, like because I was waiting for it. A manager, usually you would think like, oh, that's a terrible call. That's a blown call by them. The rule, even if it is, it's a stupid rule. The rule shouldn't be like that. We should change the rule. He didn't say anything. He said, that's the rule. We're on the wrong side of it. And it is what it is. That's the rule. And I think that's why I just like that part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's definitely a good sport about things, but it's just how he manages is
I don't like
not my cup of tea.
I don't like how you take Blake Snell out of a game.
Yeah.
Game 6.
No feel, zero feel.
It's like we said, he's an analytics guy. It's like this, he's an analytics type of guy where I think Alex Cora kind of rides the line. I think Alex Cora does dabble with the analytics part.
Yes, 1000%.
He's more of a feel, and I think it comes from playing and being in those spots. I think he just has feel for the game.
Right.
But anyways, I digress. I thought about that too because everyone was saying like, they had different opinions on Kevin Cash. But in the Rays, it's if they were in the other division, like if they were in the other side of the bracket, I would kind of hope to see them in the World Series because I kind of like their team. I like their story where they don't have like much. It's like a low market team. They don't really got the means. It's like a Moneyball type team, and I don't know. And also, but I also will say they came out how they want to play half their games in Montreal next year. I think that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's insane. I mean, you might as well just move the team, man. You might as well just move the team. To say that baseball isn't sustainable in Tampa? What We've known that since the team's been there, man.
Yeah.
We see the attendance numbers. We see we see them on TV. We see how the stadium looks when it's, filled. We see this stuff. Like, we know that the fan base can't make it out to see this team because the ballpark is in a terrible spot. So you either build a new ballpark closer to your core audience or move the team to Montreal. Either one. You can't do this half and half thing. It's going to kill. It's going to drive whatever Tampa fans you have away. They're going to say, why would I even support this team if you're not fully committed to us? The stadiums are in a bad part of the state. I'm not going to, I hate driving here as it is. And now you're going to do this. I'm out.
Yeah.
And then the Montreal fans, they're going to be, happy to be there. But at a certain point, you got to think they'd be like, can we just have it? Just give us the whole team. Just put the team here. I think it's just a way to toe the line until Tropicana's lease is up in a couple of years, and then he's just going to move the team.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard that they're going to split between two places.
Has that ever been done?
I
don't think it's ever been done.
I don't think it's ever been done, and I think you're right. It's going to just drive people away from Tampa's.
It's going to alienate the Tampa fan base, man. It's going to
alienate. You might as well just play all the games in Montreal.
That's what I'm saying. Just move the team at that point. I think the only reason, and I think we looked it up last week or the week before, the lease runs until 2025, I think. Or I can go back and find out. But the lease is up in a couple of years. I think it's just a way to kind of like put a Band-Aid on an open wound, and then as soon as the lease is up, he can move, rip it off.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should just move it closer to like the Bucks Stadium, and
that's exactly where it should be.
Yeah.
It should be right. It should be near the Bucks. It should be near the Lightning. It should be downtown in Tampa, which clearly has become a hotbed for sports. They, for some reason, put it out in St. Pete on a peninsula in the middle of nowhere I'm going to say it's a junk stadium, man. It's absolute trash.
I think they'd do so much better if they didn't move it to outside of those two stadiums. I think it would do so. Like, if you think about I think about Baltimore. Philly. Is it Philly where the Eagles Stadium is right next to?
Oh yeah, yep.
It's like everything's close.
It's the same thing with Detroit, man. Detroit, Comerica Park, Ford Field, and now the new Little Caesars Arena. They're all in the same block.
I think it just makes sense. I think they got to start doing that. So,
be crazy if that happened with the Red Sox and the Garden and freaking Foxborough. That'd be nuts. Imagine if you could walk from a Red Sox game to a Bruins game to a Pats game. That'd be crazy.
That would be pretty nuts. I don't foresee that.
That'll never happen. It'll never happen. But
Boston's like different though.
It's too dense. It's way too dense. Way too dense.
I mean, you're not going to move Fenway. Fenway is like too historic.
They've tried to move Fenway, man. It's never going to happen.
It's too locked in, dude. You're not going to move Fenway. And the Garden's even too historic, dude. They already built a new Garden. They're not going to build another one. And Gillette's probably less locked into where it is now, but I don't foresee them moving Gillette Stadium anytime soon as well. The only one I can see,
we'll get that new soccer stadium
eventually. The only one I can see is the new soccer stadium.
We'll get the Revs. The Revs are going to get a stadium at some point. God knows when, but I'm hoping within my lifetime we'll see it.
They win a championship, maybe they'll.
Dude, that'd be wild if all they had to do was win a championship to get it. Like, Kraft has this hidden clause that if the team maybe it's just to himself. Yeah. But he's like, yeah, man, the second they win MLS Cup, I'll build them a stadium. And they've fallen short 5 times. He's had
just money.
He's had his finger on the he's had the construction lease on his desk ready to sign. And as soon as he loses, oh, nope, can't do it.
That would be a Kraft thing to do.
Oh my God. Too funny.
Can we officially say the Sox are the hottest team in Boston?
We're going to have to go Sox 1, Revs 2. Pats 3 by default until
Celtics are playing. I mean, the Celtics
until the season B's start off their regular season. But for now, I got to give it to the Sox. Sox are king right now.
Celtics just came out that Jaylen Brown and Al Horford today
have COVID. Yeah, that's all right. Well,
it's preseason.
Got to tread water for the preseason.
But yeah, I'm excited. unbelievable week for the Red Sox. Unbelievable week. Not unbelievable week, but good week for the Patriots to get a win. But we got to find our way to the Sox game on Game 3, and it's going to be
Get these boys home.
With us. Hopefully, if they can split,
A split
least
is
split.
ideal. A split is ideal.
that's you're in good shape because then you got 3 games at
1000%.
home.
Coming back home with 3 straight games, anything's possible, baby.
So let's move on to our final segment of the night, the People's Topic.
It's the people's topic, baby! People's topic.
So for People's Topic, you can write it on Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. My flashlight was on. You can write it anytime. Give us a comment, topic, whatever you want us to talk about. Oh my goodness, blockbuster trade was made in my fantasy football league.
What do you got?
Someone traded Leonard Fournette and Terry McLaurin for Ezekiel Elliott and Michael Pittman.
Wow. Damn.
Blockbuster moves are being made. Anyways, let's go to our first question of the night. Someone said, huh? Nope. All right, Matt. This one comes from Matty P. He's a former workmate, and also
Workmate?
I don't know how to say that. Coworker, I guess is a better way. In fantasy football manager, I guess I should say. Said, he wrote a big one. Jeepers crow. You guys are questioning my reading abilities here. Should the MLB reseed after the wild card game? I don't think the Giants should have played the Dodgers this round. They should have gotten the team with the worst record, the Braves. In past, when there was only one wild card team for each league, they made it so the Sox would never play the Yankees as early as the ALDS. So I guess he's saying, should we reseed after the wild card game? So like if the Dodgers, who won like 100 games, they shouldn't have played the team that had 104 games. It's tough because like I guess
I get what he's saying. You do want to reward the best team because the whole point of the the 2 wild cards is that you put a huge emphasis on winning the division. But at the same time, how often is the wild card team going to be a 100 plus win team? I feel like it's just such a rare occurrence that I don't know if you want to add a whole new wrinkle to the playoffs just because the Dodgers happen to go on an equally as impressive run as the top seed, but a counterpoint is you're getting these series off the bat, which is huge. We saw the Red Sox-Yankees game was the highest rated playoff game in 17 years or something like that.
something like that.
A long time.
It was a long time.
So I'd say it kind of benefits MLB that they're getting these premier matchups off the bat, like bang, bang, bang. We're getting these right now.
Yeah, to play devil's advocate, like for the side of, trade reseeding, you're right. I'm looking at the Dodgers, San Fran series right now, and I mean San Fran's up 2-1, but the Dodgers now it's like an unbelievable series right now. They're gonna win. It looks like it's too early to call, but they're kind of going all cylinders right now at home. And we're going to possibly have a 5-game ALDS. Like that's a pretty good series. And you're right. It's not going to consistently happen where a 100-win team plays a 106-win team. Like it's not going to happen that often. But on the other side of the coin, like I'll be honest with you, I think this would be an unbelievable ALCS victory. Like, I'd rather see a game 7 of an ALCS
True.
between the 2 best teams than, a game 5 of the ALDS. But I go back and forth because what happens if the Dodgers somehow lose in the ALDS? Then you never get that series. Now you have, like, say they play San Fran plays the Braves and the Brewers play the Dodgers, and the Brewers somehow beat the Dodgers or vice versa. You know what I mean? Then we never get to that series. So I go back and forth. I think it's fine the way it is because I don't think this is going to happen too often. I think you're going to get more of what you're seeing from like the Sox and the Yankees series, where it was the wild card team. They were a second place, I guess in this case, third place team that, was a good team that deserved a chance to go to the playoffs, but wasn't good enough to beat the division, and they'll play the best team.
Yeah, I think it creates the matchups we want. It might be earlier than we're thinking, but then it gives us new stuff at the end.
Yeah. So I think you leave it for now, but it is worth thinking about because you're right. Like back in the day, MLB wanted Red Sox, Yankees, and ALCS every single year.
Right.
So
and they got it for 2 years
and
in
they
a row.
got it. This one comes from Vicky. She always comes up with some crazy ones. Negative but fun fact: it disappeared. A group of crows are called a murder. Well, thanks for that one.
That's what the Red Sox are. We're a group of crows.
We're a group of crows. That was weird. Thanks, Vicky. Thank you for your weird people's topic.
Gotta love it.
Let's go to Instagram, where we have Griffin. Oh, my boy Griffin from college. What's up, Griff? I haven't seen this kid in a long time. He said, what grade would you give each Pats free agent signing?
I think
everyone. I don't remember all of them.
Bourne's a C plus, maybe a B minus.
Yeah, I give Bourne.
Judon's an A.
A plus for Judon. I give Judon an A plus, dude. He's the whole defense.
Aguilar is probably a C minus.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry, I'd give a C right now. Jonnu Smith, probably C minus. A lot of averages. I don't like. No one's really, apart from Judon, no one's really like been a huge boom like game changer so far. But it's early. It's early in the season.
I agree. I think Judon's like an A plus. I think Mills has been pretty better than expected.
Mills, yeah.
I think he's like a B plus. Bourne's like a B minus, C plus. Aguilar's like a C minus. I think Joanna Smith's like a C. I think you can make the argument Hunter Henry's slowly rising up the ranks. Like the chemistry between those guys was big the other day. So I'd go probably B minus for him. C plus, B minus, but rising. Is there anyone else that was like noteworthy that we got?
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Oh, Kyle Van Noy. Like I'd say he hasn't done that much. Like I'd say like a C plus.
Yeah,
maybe.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. Ted Karras was big the other day. He's kind of like been a pretty.
I'd say Judon and then everyone else at this point.
Yeah. So that was a good question. And then our last question comes from our boy, Joseph _ Celia, and he wrote another paragraph. Guys, I'm not that literate. You guys you're having too long a question. Well, I like it. Give us a paragraph. You guys can make fun of me how I'm reading. Looking back, it's crazy to think how. Oh, he's painting a picture. Looking back, it's crazy to think how Brady not only got paid by the Bucks, but that they also managed to bring every single player back this year and still have cap space. Why do you think in Brady's later years with the Patriots, Bill was never able to construct the Pats the way the Bucks just did? By not only giving Brady the money he deserved, while also keeping / bringing the pieces in Brady wanted. I'll go first. I just think that's not how Bill operates. I think he puts a number on each position and not a player. And he's like, I'm not spending more than this amount of money on up until this year, because obviously he went on a spending spree this year. And it's absolutely crazy. But up until this year, he's always put a price tag and said, like, this is how much I think a cornerback should be paid. I'm not paying any more than this. And he'll go in and find someone to fill that position. And, Brady's thing wasn't the money. It was the years. Belichick didn't want to give him the years on the contract. Like, that was the difference between the Bucks and the Patriots. Brady was like, give me 2 years or 2 or 3 year contract. And Belichick said, no, I'll give you the one. And that was where I think the disconnect lied. I don't think it was so much the money. I think it was the years and the commitment. I mean, the way the Bucks are able to keep everyone, it's absolutely. I mean, you can manipulate the cap and stuff like that, and you can kind of like, you know, take money off here and slice it in there where it's not on the cap now. Guys take pay cuts, so I mean, that's how they got everyone to come back. But the reason the Patriots never did that was because I don't think that's how Bill operated. Like he put a price tag with your position. If you didn't like it, walk.
Right.
I mean, we saw it with Gilmore.
Yeah, that was always the thing with Bill, is that it was always next man up, do your job. If you think you deserve more money than I'm going to pay you, I'll trade you, or you can walk. That's it. So, and that's honestly how the Patriots were so sustainable for all that time, is cogs in the wheel. Like, hey, Asante Samuel's gone. Okay, we'll get the next guy. Darrell Revis leaves after a year. All right, we'll get the next guy. Brandon Browner, next guy. Not to say he didn't spend on free agents. Like, he brought in Gilmore. He brought in all these, took a chance on Randy Moss. He took a chance on like all these guys, brings in Josh Gordon, takes a flyer on Antonio Brown. It's not that Bill didn't want to build a good team around Brady, and he did for the most part, but it was more through, diamonds in the rough in the draft, or veteran free agent moves, or, maybe a one big free agent contract. Bill was never, I need the best wide receiver. I need the best running back. I'm going to blow the cap out of the water. I'm going to overpay on everyone. Because I mean, and we're seeing it with the Chiefs, and we see it with the Legion of Boom. You can pay everyone you want. You'll get a decent window out of it, but at a certain point, the window's going to close. So I think Bill, from, the 2001 Super Bowl on, said, I'm not going to sell on the longevity of this team. I could, Bill very easily could have brought in like an Andre Johnson or a Calvin Johnson, or all these top tier wide receivers, or all these top tier running backs. And could the Pats maybe have gotten, the 06 Super Bowl? Do you think they could have finished off the 2007 Super Bowl or won the 2008 Super Bowl? Probably. But then they probably don't win the 14 or the 16 or anything like that, because they're in cap hell and everyone leaves. So I think Bill just kept a sustainable model for as long as he could. And, now Brady's down in Tampa, where they don't give a fuck about money. So they're going to have their window, and then it's going to close.
And I think the difference with Tampa too is they already had all those pieces already there. It was just the quarterback they added. It wasn't like when Bill got here, it wasn't like we had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
No, we didn't have nearly the weapons to offer.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they were off to a good start, and all they needed was a quarterback. I mean, their quarterback the year before threw over 50 touchdowns. I think that wasn't the problem. They just wanted a quarterback that didn't turn the ball over, and they needed a veteran leader. And they know, I think that's the other thing. Like you said, the window is small, but they're okay with that because they know their window is as big as Tom Brady plays. Like that's the Bucs window realistically. So they're gonna ride out these next, I guess we could say the next 20 years, because who knows how long Tom's gonna play. He's probably gonna play until he's like 80 years old. But I mean, realistically, they're probably gonna ride out the next 5 years, 3 years, and try to get a championship.
It's gonna come crashing down eventually, man. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it will come crashing down eventually.
That may have been one of the biggest catches I've seen in like this kid, bases loaded. I think he had no outs. They got 2 outs, and the guy just made a jumping catch at the wall to get out of it. Dodgers still up 2-0. Sorry, that was just an unbelievable play. You were rolling when it happened, and I don't know how I reacted. I didn't want to get in the middle of that.
That's all right. That's all right.
Catch. But yeah. All right, so that was people's topic. Remember, you can write it on Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. Make sure you give us a follow. Follow us on TikTok at Big Red Zone. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the like button on this video as well as all our other videos. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. What a week, Danny Football. Hopefully next week we are in Beantown on Monday. Watching the
Recap
Red
it
Sox
next
game,
Tuesday.
Recap it next Tuesday. As always, thanks again to Danny Football, and have a great week, everyone.